Kyle's legacy is a tapestry of life events founded in his church, his school, and his connection with Upon This Rock Productions.
So I remember Kyle as a young kid growing up at Grace Apostolic Church, which is my home church, and also in working with him through Upon This Rock. And I'm just seeing him grow from a child to a young man at such a, actually he was ahead of his time, obviously, but that was my direct connection to him and going to church and then working with him through UTR.
I became the new pastor of Grace about 7 years ago, and I kept hearing about this talented and gifted young man from his peers that were in the youth ministry. And I didn't meet Kyle. Kyle actually met me. He scheduled an appointment with me so that we could share and exchange ideas about the direction of the youth ministry. And we were exchanging ideas and talking about youth ministry, and it actually ended up not being an exchange of ideas, but me listening to him, because his ideas and his knowledge of theater production, music, and technology were just far beyond his years, and I was literally blown away. And it was then that I knew that we had a very special gift that God had graced us with in Kyle Guyton. And that's why this Kyle Guyton Scholarship Memorial Fund is so important, so that a young man who was so full of accomplishments and future potential, his legacy will not be forgotten because we're paying it forward to those who are like-minded.
Kyle Guyton was one of the young people at church at Grace Apostolic growing up. Kyle's contribution to Grace was the importance of celebrations and the importance of celebrating the arts. He knew what he wanted to do at an early age. He got on that track and he went for a path. And everything that in Kyle's life had to do with arts and celebration of the arts and how to manage the arts and how to write and play and direct. He's only one of the young people that I know that have left such an impact at such an early age. I know God influenced Kyle's life because when Kyle was ready to pursue God's calling and let the love of God show abroad, he didn't have to push, he didn't have to fight, he didn't have to wrestle his way to get to do what he knew God was calling him to do. He was influenced by God's love.
I met Kyle through a mutual friend during the Upon This Rock production 1 year, 8 years ago, matter of fact, and he was 14 years old. He came to one of our meetings, and I looked at this young man and wondered, why is this little boy here at the staff meeting? He came in with a briefcase, and he said not a word, but he was taking notes. I observed that first. And for a whole year, he would come to our staff meetings with Hubert Tyler, who was then our stage and tech director. And he sat for a year in those board meetings without uttering a word. Kyle was our stage and tech director. He was the set designer. And I literally saw this kid grow up. And we formed this bond, this relationship, because my passion is theater. His passion most definitely was theater. And gone before his time. To be that young and to accomplish so much in his short life. Dedication, consistency. That's Kyle Guyton.
We all grew up together at Grace Church. And of course, Kyle was just a little toddler coming up. And with Upon This Rock, as long as it's been around, we've had a lot of children that were a part of Upon This Rock in different capacities. And of course, Kyle was a part of that. His mom actually served with Upon This Rock as well. And then he grew. Kyle grew up, and just like a lot of our youngsters, some of them now have major roles in Upon This Rock. Well, Kyle grew from the technical end. And when he was about 14 years old, his mentor at Grace, Hubert Tyler, introduced Kyle to us from the technical end. So he brings his 14-year-old little boy. We've known him since a child, and said, well, I'm grooming him to take over. I'm like, well, what's up with that? He's too young. But the more and more Kyle got into it, he talked very intelligent. He knew his stuff. He did his research. And over the years, Kyle evolved into who he was already, from the technical perspective of theater. And I was so excited about Kyle and what the promising future for Upon This Rock. Because I said, he's the man, he's young, he's going to just mold right into what we need. And I was excited, but only for it to be short-lived.
Kyle's story ends abruptly at the age of 22 years. On April 5th, 2016, while chaperoning a group of students during spring break in Europe, Kyle encountered a medical emergency, of which he unfortunately succumbs.
I only knew Kyle for a very brief period of time. I met him right before we took off on our trip to Europe, and knew him for the short time that we were on the trip before he passed. I think my thing about Kyle is everything that I found out about him after he had passed away. And I think it affected me very, very deeply, the loss, being a physical therapist and helping people. And at that moment, I could do nothing. It was not within my powers to be able to do something, and I was at such a loss that, and from a mother too, from the perspective of being a mother and his mom not there, and just it affected me so deeply that I felt like I had to do something. I was propelled into service from this experience. Kyle J. Guyton Memorial Scholarship Fund has impacted many kids since we've started, and how I see that is, in the beginning, there were several kids that knew him directly, and he impacted them to continue forward in theater and the performing arts, and gave them a voice that they could do it. He empowered them.
Upon graduation from college, Kyle returned to teach at his alma mater, Bishop Chatard High School in Indianapolis.
I was fortunate in that I had the opportunity to have Kyle as a student and also work with him as a colleague. Kyle was in my biology class his freshman year. Needless to say, while being a good student in science, it was not Kyle's passion. He was wonderful in class, and I could sense that he was a creative genius. If there was an opportunity for Kyle to create something, he would always excel. After graduation from Indiana State University, Kyle joined the teaching staff at Bishop Chatard High School. This was somewhat surreal for me. Kyle was the ultimate professional. I was so impressed with the quality of our school productions after Kyle took over the reins of our drama department. We have a lot more people involved in the arts because of Kyle. This is our legacy for Kyle.
I knew Kyle because he was my teacher for my senior year at Bishop Chatard High School when he took over the theater department. And he served as a big mentor for me and all of the theater students, but specifically for me, he pushed me to apply for theater programs in college, and he told me that I, had what it takes to do it when I didn't believe that myself. He spent an entire rehearsal one day for our show Snow White, working just with me and my character because he knew I was struggling with it. And he just sat me down and he said, I wouldn't have given you this role if I didn't know you could do it. I know you can do it. He knew me for just a few months at that point, and I was like, you already have that much confidence in me. Why can't I have that kind of confidence in myself?
I was a junior at Bishop Chatard High School when I first met Kyle. I was a theater kid. I had done theater my freshman and sophomore year, and he cast me as the prince in his production of Snow White. That was my first real experience with him. The Kyle Guyton Memorial Scholarship Fund has been hugely impactful, and it's been really humbling to receive, to be honest. I am currently studying something that Kyle was doing in his life before he passed on, and to get to have the opportunity to continue his legacy and to follow in his footsteps, it's a dream come true.
So he was always around. We always hung out. He was like my big brother. He always watched out for me. When it came to music, we always did a lot of stuff together, recorded songs. He helped cultivate my gifts as far as music as well, too. I was a recipient of the Kyle Guyton Memorial Scholarship Fund. It meant a lot to me to receive it. Short story, at first, no one really knows this but my close family. I didn't want to fill out the scholarship just because everything was still so fresh for me with the passing and everything like that, and it was extremely emotional. But when I finally did, I was extremely grateful. It resonated in a way that a lot of us didn't really understand until he did pass away. So it's something that's really big, and I'm thankful for it, that his name and his legacy continues to live on through other people.
Kyle inspired me in many ways. He was that bright light that came out of nowhere. Like when you saw him, you was like, wow, that's one of the people I want to be like.
I never directly expressed to Kyle that I had an interest in theater. A family friend did, and he reached out to me, and he gave me so much insight and so much encouragement without even me having to ask for that or even seek that out in him. I want people to know that Kyle had a heart for others. Whenever I would see him, whenever I got an encounter with Kyle, he was always looking out for other people. He was doing something for someone else. He was always lending a helping hand. It was always kind words, encouraging words whenever we got to speak, whenever we interacted. And I think that's important to know. And even in his last moments, he was doing what he loved, which was helping others. He was there for other students. That's where we got to connect because we both had a love for arts and a love for children. So to see him not only practice the arts, but get to practice it through influencing students was just remarkable and commendable, honestly.
Because of his significant contributions to the performing arts, the Kyle Guyton Memorial Scholarship Fund was created. The purpose of the Kyle Jordan Guyton Memorial Scholarship Fund is to honor Kyle's memory by awarding scholarships to qualifying students who will attend a post-secondary college or university with a concentration in the performing arts.
Supporting the Kyle J. Guyton Memorial Scholarship Fund is an opportunity for you to sow into good ground. And what I mean by that is this is a chance for us to help others with the cost of higher education, which is, a lot of can be very expensive. Also, there aren't very many scholarship opportunities for those learners who are choosing to go into the performing arts or to theater. So we've done an amazing job over the past, going into year 5 now, of helping these students with the cost of college, and it's been an inspiration to them. So if you're looking to sow money into a great opportunity, an ongoing opportunity, then this is just a way to do that.
Well, with Kyle, he was my only child, and a lot of times he watched a lot of the videos, Disney videos, various cartoons and different things, and he learned to imitate various things so he could go into different characters. I believe he just had a God-given talent to do that. And later on in school, he took some, was part of a drama class when he was 6th grade. He was always playing like he was a teacher after school, even at St. Andrew. He was honestly a caring individual. He wasn't about race or color. He was about people. He believed people should be together regardless of their race or their background, have no differences. He was just friendly like that. But I let him know that he was no less than anyone, and there was no one any better than him. He was a caring person. He was diligent about what he did. He was full of integrity. And then because he wanted to give back, he gave back because the teachers had poured into him for the Kyle Guyton Memorial Scholarship Fund. But I first want to thank you because of your kindness and your love. anyone that's able to support in any type of way with your monetary contribution is greatly appreciated. I, as his mom and a part of Kyle, I just appreciate you. I thank you from the bottom of my heart, because I know you don't have to do this, especially at this time. There's so many different things that's going on, but any and everything that can be donated gets poured into the scholarship, which will help a student wanting to enter college to study theater or the arts or something along that way.
To find out more about applying for the scholarship, please visit www.kgscholarship.org.